Hi, this is Derek. Welcome back to 31 Days of Oscar. This month, of course, I'm talking about movies that were either nominated for or have won the Best Picture Academy Award. Today, I'm going to be talking about a nominee from 1974, Chinatown, Roman Polanski's film. Much like with the Western, I think noir, film noir, is something that, while not as popular as it was in the beginning, it's never going to be something that Hollywood will quite give up on or get rid of. We're always going to see a little bit more. We're always going to see it kind of make little spikes back in popularity and see a lot of movies take influence from it. Of all neo-noirs, needless to say, Chinatown is the absolute best, most popular, even not pigeonholing it into that. It's one of the best regarded movies of all time, and I think that's a fair ranking for the movie. It's a great movie. I mean, undoubtedly, legendary director Roman Polanski, his best movie, I would say personally. Legendary screenwriter Robert Towne. He won an Oscar for the screenplay, though of course maybe there were some creative differences in who wrote what, whatever. Regarded as his best screenplay. Jack Nicholson, one of the greatest actors in the history of anything ever, regarded as one of his best performances. So I mean, there's a lot to this movie, and from a kind of a neo-noir standpoint, I think it hits the appropriate notes. Because like when you first see the movie, like the title credits, over that great Jerry Goldsmith music, this really appropriate mood-setting music. It looks exactly like a movie from the 30s or 40s or something like that. And even those credits, they're in like a kind of this square aspect ratio, but then boom, we get into an actual movie where it kind of transitions very subtly from like Burt Young. He's like in the opening scene with Jack Nicholson playing J.J. Gittes, the private detective. His wife has been screwing around. She's looking at the pictures. Of course, the pictures are in black and white, so they zoom out of the pictures, and then we're into the full color widescreen film. So I think that's kind of an appropriate transition, and it hits the right notes in the sense that it's not like some movies, they'll be very, very right on the nose as kind of a tribute to noir. This one, it captures the spirit, most definitely, but it works on its own terms, and it does feel like a current movie from the 70s. So it's like film noir meets paranoid era of film, 70s film. So there's that, and like there's not like over the top kind of complete replication of how a noir would be. Like there's not like a lot of slang. Like Jack Nicholson's not like hamming it up, talking around like, oh, a dame like you ain't to trust, or shit like that. Like that is just bullshit. So like that movie, it was the Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie. I don't even know, that stupid horrible movie. Anyway, thumbs down. Anyway, no, I didn't like it. Brick, horrible movie. Anyway, Chinatown, great movie. And so it keeps to that. It has this 70s type of sensibility to it, where it is kind of this paranoid type of movie where there is a conspiracy, and the thing is, we have the elements that, of course, it's the perfect recipe for a film noir. We have the flawed lead character in Gittes. We have the femme fatale in Faye Dunaway, great in her role, probably her best role too, except for maybe Bonnie and Clyde, where she's definitely the femme fatale, but not in kind of the traditional type of way, where with a lot of femme fatales, they kind of have this attitude where they know they're femme fatales. She doesn't. She cannot be trusted. She is a part of the conspiracy, but she's damaged, and her lack of being able to convey a certain believability or a certain sense of trust in others is just because of her own personal damage, which we learn about as the movie draws towards its conclusion. So it brings, the character to an even more tragic kind of conclusion, I would say. So with that kind of modern edge to it, I think it succeeds. And of course, with a character like Jack Nicholson playing J.J. Gittes, he's definitely the flawed character. He's definitely a little bit shady, trying to find a conscience, but he just is unsure of himself. And that's part of the reason why I think it is among Jack Nicholson's very best, because Nicholson, in just about every role, he exudes confidence. We look at this guy from the very beginning, from something like, Easy Rider. This is a guy who knows what he's doing, who's very confident. Here, this is an unsure character. This is a vulnerable character. This is a character that is, in a lot of ways, weak and doesn't really know what to do. So I think that's a brilliant aspect. And he's a little more toned down than he usually is. He has the Jack Nicholson persona that we're all used to, but he hits different notes here as the character, and has quite a bit more of a vulnerability to him, which we don't see too often. And I think that's why this is always listed among his very best performances. So just a tremendous performance from Nicholson. And of course, I mean, the movie, it has some kind of absurdist, surrealist kind of parts to it. Like, I mean, it's Roman Polanski. He's always a little kind of, it's so weird. Like, his movies do feel kind of realistic, but kind of dreamlike in the same way. Like, we think of the scenes where, Jack Nicholson, he's uncovering the mystery, and he's down in the river that is completely, droughted, and out of nowhere, the kid on the horse appears, and weird things like that. And even it kind of pokes a little bit of holes in the whole film noir kind of thing. Like, one of my favorite scenes in the movie, it's after they visit the orange grove, and at this point, Jack Nicholson just looks completely different from any kind of noir star we see, because throughout basically like 2/3 of the movie, the first third, he's the good-looking, dapper kind of guy, but then all of a sudden his nose gets cut and he has the fucking bandages all over him, and that kind of throws you off a little bit throughout the whole movie, kind of making you sense something's a little off. And there's this one scene, they're driving, and they're talking back and forth about what they've uncovered, what they've found out, and he's without really drawing attention to it, they're driving in the convertible, and he's trying to light the cigarette, and he's pulling out the lighter, trying, keeps talking, trying again to light the cigarette. He keeps going for the entire scene. It's maybe like a 2-minute scene, but he keeps trying to light that cigarette. And we always have this kind of idea of these types of movies, of these film noir, dapper star kind of movies, where they, so confidently light up the cigarette, and they're very smooth and whatever. Here it just kind of pokes holes in that. So I love that scene, and the best thing is they don't call attention to it. So it kind of leaves you to kind of think, was this a mistake? Did they leave this in the movie, or something like that? Of course, the movie's well known for its ending and the infamous final lines, "Forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown." Just in case you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to give away the ending, but I will say it is one of the most wrenching, kind of punch in the gut kind of endings that I've ever seen, where you do feel the way Jack Nicholson does at the end of the movie. We share his complete feelings, so we have a complete understanding of the character at that point. And of course, there was always, one of the biggest things about the movie was the debate over whether or not to have it end that way. Some initial doubt over whether it should, but I'm so glad they ended the movie the way they did. If they ended it differently, if they ended it in kind of a happy way, it just wouldn't be the same. It really wouldn't. So one of the best endings, I'd say, of all movies. So Chinatown, that's my review. A great, great movie from a great director, starring a great actor, great actress, from a great screenwriter. One of the all-time greats. Definitely check it out. And thank you very much for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like this review. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Visit Dare237.com, and until next time, I'll see you later.